Greetings and welcome back to another episode of The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, the show where I, the curator, discuss my personal favorite show of all time, personal favorite franchise of all time, Doctor Who. And whoops, right off the bat, you'll notice that not counting my silly screwdriver mistake here, and I'm not gonna redo that. Right off the bat, you'll notice that we're experiencing some technical difficulties, clearly. But another thing that I wanted to bring up is this episode is coming out, I should say, premiering at a different time and date than the usual. That's maybe my fault, I'm afraid. Clearly, the last episode that I did on this show was so bad that it affected me so terribly that I decided I needed some time off. I'm joking, obviously. I was taking care of some personal stuff, and I just couldn't do the episode, couldn't pre-record the episode at the appropriate time and place, which led to it not premiering on a Monday as it usually does. So I'm pre-recording it now. I have no idea when Soda will decide to release it into the world, but that was just a little disclaimer that I decided to bring up prior to starting off the show. Now, today on the show, we will be doing the exact same thing that I've been doing for the past 2 weeks on this show, but as previously mentioned, the last episode was just really not my best look, even with the slapstick comedy that I just experienced right here. I decided to slightly shake up the format a little bit. I will try and hopefully make this look as unnoticeable as possible, but one thing I do not enjoy doing personally is reading notes and reading off certain things. I just like to do everything from memory and from my own head. However, given the fact that in the last couple of weeks I've been talking and discussing a matter that I knew so frighteningly little about that I literally had to read entire Wikipedia pages just to have some semblance of idea of what I'm actually doing, I decided to basically just do that. I will be reading off Wikipedia for this episode. I will try not to do that in the future because, just like I said, it's not really my favorite type of how to do a show properly. But that's just the way it is. So yeah, for this particularly topic, I feel it's necessary. Now, once again, as we usually do before we get things started, at this point I'm really starting to become envious of Soda and his multiple screen syndrome. But yeah, I will be trying to do several different things at once, so please bear with me. Obviously, we will be starting today's episode pretty much like every other episode we do by highlighting several people on their birthdays. However, here is where I kind of dug myself a pretty long grave with that subject because in between the past week, and remember we are counting down from June 14th. Sorry, yeah, June 14th because we already counted the 13th. June 14th all the way to the June 21st instead of June 20th because, well, like I said, this is being pre-recorded a day after it would have premiered, so we are counting the 21st for this one, and June there between this relatively small window of time, there have been so many people having their birthdays in and around associated with the realm of Doctor Who that I seriously had to trim the list down. Now, I do that every week, obviously, but this time I really, really, really had to cut a lot of people off from the list. And I just yeah, it started out as a much bigger list, but even with cutting people off from the list, I still managed to have like uh, almost 10 people on this list. But seriously, I don't like to do that, but I did for this episode. There are a couple of really massive ones on this week that just including them with, you know, the guy who was a cameraman on one episode just really wouldn't have fit. So here we are with the list. Hold on, let me just jump back into it. So starting us off from June 14th, we have Julia Julia Joyce. Sorry, my bad. She, as you can see in this picture, she played the young Rose Tyler in the episode Father's Day. And fun fact that I discovered just now researching this, she also played one of John Frobisher's daughters in the Torchwood Children of Earth storyline, which is actually pretty interesting. And I really like that bit of trivia, so I decided to put that on this list. Also on the June 14th, we have someone who doesn't have their picture in the Doctor Who website, but it's someone called Martin Johnson. He did a lot of music and sound design for a lot of the Doctor Who Big Finish episodes. So I decided to include him here, even though he doesn't have an official picture to show. I should probably take this picture off. Now here's something interesting that's also here on the website. He's also credited as aviation consultant on the episode Spyfall, which, considering that that movie that episode had a lot of scenes involving planes, that would make sense. However, Spyfall came out in 2020, and it says right here on the Doctor Who website that he passed away in 2003. So how he was able to be a consultant, an aviation consultant, on an episode that came out, or rather filmed, roughly 17 years after he passed away, is a mystery to me. But I guess we are talking about Doctor Who, so maybe he time traveled in order to accomplish that feat. On June 16th, we have Michael Kilgriff. A lot of R's and F's in that name for some reason. He was the cyber controller in The Tomb of the Cybermen and Attack of the Cybermen, two really signature Cybermen episodes. He also is credited as playing a robot in the episode Robots and Mordred Undead, which was uncredited. But the robot one doesn't necessarily specify if it was the iconic K1 robot from that signature Fourth Doctor story, but he is credited as a robot, so I'm gonna. I don't remember a lot of other robots in that episode, so I'm gonna assume it was. On June 16th, also on June 16th, I should say, we have our first really big one, the only Miss Carol Ann Ford. I don't really think this woman needs any introduction at all. She played, of course, Susan Foreman, the granddaughter of the Doctor, in both the TV show, various specials, as well as Big Finish stuff. She's just a massive Doctor Who fan, and she contributed to Doctor Who in more ways than many other actors and many other people alive today. So happy birthday to Carol Ann Ford. Also, June 16th is Mr. Simon Williams. Now, he played the character of Gilmore in Remembrance of the Daleks. But what's really interesting here is that he later reprised the role as Group Captain Gilmore in the Big Finish series Countermeasures, which is basically a sort of unit-ish type organization taking place in the 1960s, which is basically just a spin-off of Remembrance of the Daleks. But they have like 2, 3, maybe even 4 seasons to their name, so I felt the need to include Simon Williams in this here list. On June 17th, probably the biggest one on the list. It's pretty arguable between the other two. One was on the 17th, but Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor, I guess you could confuse her for being 14th. But yeah, the 13th Doctor had her birthday this week. Whatever your feelings may be on the 13th Doctor and the Chris Chibnall era as a whole, this is here to just celebrate a person's birthday, and or rather several persons' birthday, and Jodie Whittaker just happens to be one on that list. Also on June 16th, this was the other, sorry, the 17th, the other one that I was arguing could be the biggest one here, Mr. Arthur Darvill, who played Rory Williams, or rather Rory Pond, in the entirety of the, well, most of the 11th Doctor era. He reprised the role for Big Finish, obviously. He also has several other Big Finish roles, specifically in the world of Doctor Who, to his credit. He also has several roles in Big Finish outside of the Doctor Who realm. Now, here's an interesting one. We have Joseph Lippiatt. I really hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. He's actually been uncredited for all of his appearances, but he has appeared in sporadically all throughout the David Tennant era as like a waiter or a technician or a double or just random, almost extras, but he's gone uncredited in all of them, and he's given some pretty big major episodes. And I just the reason I decided to put him on the list and not several other people that I was considering putting on here, like the president of Gallifrey from the Deadly Assassin, among others, is because he's gone uncredited for every single one of these episodes that he's appeared in. So I decided to correct that mistake, because it really is quite an extensive list of episodes. On June 19th, we have Darren Nesbitt. He played Warlord Tigana in Marco Polo, the first of the William Hartnell episodes that is now missing, unfortunately. He also has two major credits in Big Finish from two signature episodes, Spare Parts and Old Morality. I happen to be a really big fan of one of these. I'll let you guess which one of these I'm a bit bigger fan of. On June 21st, we have Mr. David Morrissey. He's more famous for Walking Dead, but he also played the character of Jackson Lake in the misleadingly titled The Next Doctor. And finally, also June 21st, Mr. Will Thorpe. He might be recognizable from this picture as playing the character of Toby Zed from The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit. However, he also has several other Doctor Who related credits to his name. Most notably, he played Gaius Julius Caesar, the father of Julius Caesar, in the Big Finish episode 100. The reason I feel it's necessary to point out is because this was literally, as the name suggests, the 100 story done in the Big Finish Doctor Who monthly range. So I decided it was big enough of an inclusion here. So for all of these people, from Jodie Whittaker to Arthur Darvill, David Morrissey, Carol Ann Ford, Will Thorpe, and others, thank you all. We quite literally could not do this without you. Now, I finally got that out of my system. Holy crap. 15 minutes into the episode, it's time. How about we talk about some Doctor Who actors? What do you say? Now, obviously, as I'm trying to navigate two completely different browsers here, this is going to be quite the challenge, but I don't do anything easily. So we are going to start off with the wonderful Mr. Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor, a Doctor that sadly had the shortest screen time, I would say, out of all. Well, I mean, it's debatable, but he arguably had the smallest amount of screen time out of all the Doctors in the Doctor Who pantheon. However, what he lacked in on-screen presence, he more than made up for in audio presence, and also in credits. But what I mean by that is TV and film credits. So I'm going to be reading you aloud from the Wikipedia page. Obviously, I'm not going to read out the entire thing, just all the important parts, but I will also be trying to navigate all of that alongside um, uh, putting up the pictures, the relevant pictures on screen. So hopefully I can survive that. Now, starting us off here with Mr. Paul McGann. McGann's breakthrough role was in Give Us a Break, devised by Jeff McQueen. McGann played a good snooker player who got into scrapes with Robert Lindsay, who played his white boy manager. The series was a comedy drama in the vein of a comedy drama in the vein of the popular ITV series the time Minder. The series only lasted for one season, and it was concluded by a one-off special. His first major dramatic role was in the British World War One deserter and was was sorry. Let me read that again. Again, I do not like doing these, so I will be doing this again. His first major dramatic role was the British World War One deserter and criminal Percy Topolis in the 1986 BBC serial The Monocled Mutineer. The film was based on the 1978 book of the same name, written by William Allison and John Fairley. Following on from the part of Percy Topolis, McGann sought a less controversial and more comedic role for his next project. In 1986, he was cast as the anonymous main character Marwood in the Bruce Robinson cult film Withnail and I. He also starred as Anton Skrebensky in Ken Russell's 1989 adaptation of D.H. Lawrence's The Rainbow. I really hope I'm clicking on the right image at the moment. McGann's other early appearances include The Monk, Dealers, the Tree of Hands, and the epic war film Empire of the Sun. McGann and other young British actors who were becoming established film actors, such as Tim Roth, Gary Oldman, Colin Firth, and Bruce Payne, were dubbed the Brit Pack. Since 1989, McGann has contracted primarily on television work, including Nicetown. Do I have a picture of that? Nope. Including Nicetown and Nature Boy for the BBC, and The One That Got Away. Is it the right picture? Yes, it is. Just making sure. And the second series of Hornblower for ITV. However, he had small roles in a number of high-profile American films like The Three Musketeers and Alien 3. Quick side note that I want to bring up here, though. In his co-star Danny Webb on Alien 3 also appeared alongside McGann and India Fisher in what is considered the last episode featuring the Eighth Doctor and what many consider to be his signature companion, Charlie Pollard, in an episode titled The Girl Who Never Was. And on the behind-the-scenes interview at the end of the episode itself, you can actually hear McGann and Webb separately discussing several of their experiences from working on Alien 3. And I highly recommend listening to that if you're a fan of the Alien franchise. Just a little bit of a side note that I decided to put in this episode. Now, back to reading Wikipedia pages. Hold on. Let me just replace these here. Okay. His role in Alien 3, oh yeah, I did hear about that. His role in Alien 3 was originally larger, but much of it was edited out of the final print. The cut footage can be seen in the extended version of the film. In 1992, he was cast as Richard Sharp, the lead character in the Sharp series of made-for-TV films based on Bernard Cornell's novels. However, he injured his knee while playing football just days into filming Sharp's Rifles in the Ukraine. Uh, in the Ukraine, he was replaced by Sean Bean, and the role effectively kick-started Bean's career and is the one that he is most closely identified with. And once again, another quick side note: it was actually real football, not fake football, or as most people call it, American football. Just wanted to point that out. In the years following his appearance as the Doctor, Paul McGann continued to diversify his acting portfolio with the television and film roles he accepted. In 1997, he appeared as a concerned father in the family film Fairy Tale: A True Story, and later that same year as Rob in Downtime. Then in 1988, he appeared as Captain Greville, not sure how to pronounce that, in The Dance of Shiva. In the 2000s, McGann's film appearances began to increase with films like. Hold on, is this the one? My Kingdom. Yeah, it is the one. I thought for a second that StreamYard was being iffy again. Films like My Kingdom, Listening, and Gifo, Gaipo. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I've never seen the movie. Perhaps his most iconic role since Doctor Who came in 2003 when McGann appeared in the film adaptation of the third story from Anne Rice's The Vampire Chronicles, Queen of the Damned. McGann played the part of David Talbot, a member of the secret organization Talamasca, which researches and investigates the supernatural. Not unlike the countermeasures team. Just wanted to point that out. Another slight side note. Talbot has appeared in many of Rice's novels and has become a central character over the years. The film also starred Stuart Townsend, Marjorie Moreau, and R&B singer Aaliyah. Again, has also been in demand for voiceover work in Britain in recent years, particularly on television, documentaries, and commercials. Presumably from his long-standing career as the Eighth Doctor in Big Finish. Just again, wanted to point that out. In 2006, he appeared in the television drama Tripping Over, which I literally could not find pictures for. In 2007, McGann starred alongside Dervla Kirwan, Lorraine Ashbourne, and finally, an easy name to pronounce, David Bradley, on the BBC One drama True Dare Kiss, written by Debbie Horsfield. But by the way, more on David Bradley later. In 2010, McGann played a regular in the crime drama Luther. In 2011, McGann played a major role as an assistant commissioner with something to hide in the final episode of Waking the Dead, not The Walking Dead, not to be confused with The Walking Dead, and also featured in Simon Gray's Butley alongside Dominic West at the Duchess Theatre in London. In 2017, McGann joined the cast of the long-standing BBC series Holby City, playing neurosurgeon John Gaskell. In 2021, he hosted the British Podcast Awards Gold, winning noisier podcast production Real Dictators, a history show that really has nothing to do with anything. Okay, so that was it for Paul McGann, and oh my goodness, I'm going to kill myself if I have to do another episode like this. But moving on to the actor with easily the largest filmography out of any of the actors who have played the Doctor to this day, and quite possibly the best actor to take on the role of the Doctor, John Hurt, and unfortunately the most recent actor to pass away. the most recent Doctor actor to pass away. Hurt's first film was The Wild and the Willing in 1962, but his first major role was as Richard Rich in A Man for All Seasons in 1966. He played Timothy Evans, who was hanged for murders committed by his landlord John Christie in 10 Rillington Road. Sorry, Rillington Place. I got confused with 10 Cloverfield Lane. In 1971, earning him his first BAFTA nomination for Best Supporting Actor. His portrayal of Quentin Crisp in the TV play The Naked Civil Servant in 1975 gave him prominence and earned him the British Academy Television Award for Best Actor. Hold on. Yeah, this is much better. Behind the scenes stuff. Go back to your drinks. The following year, Hurt won further acclaim for his bravura performance as the Roman Emperor Caligula in the BBC drama serial I, Claudius. In a much later documentary about the series I, Claudius, a television epic in 2002, Hurt revealed that he had originally declined the role when it was first offered to him. But that series director, Herbert Weiss, had invited him to a special pre-production party, hoping Hurt would change his mind. And that was so impressed by and that he was so impressed by meeting the rest of the cast and crew that he reversed his decision and took the role. That was something that I was determined to read because I felt it was pretty interesting. Moving on, Hurt appeared in the 1978 film Midnight Express, for which he won a Golden Globe and a BAFTA. And a BAFTA for which he won a Golden Globe and a BAFTA and was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. The latter of which he lost to Christopher Walken for his performance in The Deer Hunter. Around the same time, he lent his voice to Ralph Bakshi's animated film adaptation of Lord of the Rings, playing the role of Aragorn. Hurt voiced Hazel, the heroic rabbit leader of his warren, in the film adaptation of Watership Down, both in 1978. He later played the major villain, General Woundort. Sorry, I've never read Watership Down. I apologize. General Woundwort in the animated television series version. He also starred as the deformed Joseph Merrick in The Elephant Man in 1980. He won another BAFTA and was nominated for a Golden Globe and an Academy Award for Best Actor. His roles in the 1970s and the beginning of the 1980s included Kane, the first victim of the title creature of the film Alien in 1979, a role which he reprised as a parody in Spaceballs. He also starred as would-be art school radical Screwdyke in Little Malcolm in 1974. And also had a starring role in Sam Peckinpah's critically panned but moderately successful film. This is getting ridiculous here. Where was I? The Osterman Weekend in 1983. Also in this period, he starred as the Fool opposite Laurence Olivier's King in King Lear in 1993. Hurt also appeared as Ras, Raskolnikov in a BBC television adaptation of Crime and Punishment. Please tell me this is the right one. Nope. Again, this is one of the fears that I had going into this. This was not completely unexpected. Hurt voiced, here we go. Here, Hurt voiced Snitter in The Plague Dogs, played Winston Smith in the film adaptation of George Orwell's 1984. He starred in Disney's The Black Cauldron in 1985, voicing the film's antagonist, the Horned King. Hurt provided his voice for AIDS. Don't die of ignorance. What is it? A 1986 public information film warning of the dangers of AIDS, and played the title role, the on-screen narrator in Jim Henson's series The Storyteller, which was actually partially the thumbnail for today's episode. And I do have some fond memories of watching that show as a child. I think I was actually a teenager when it was in reruns. Never mind. He had a supporting role as Bird O'Donnell in Jim Sheridan's film The Field in 1990, which garnered him another BAFTA nomination and was cast as the reclusive tycoon S.R. Haddon in 1997's Contact. During this time, Hurt provided narration on the British musical British art group Art of Noise concept album The Seduction of Claude Debussy, and narrated a 4-part TV series The Universe in 1999. In the first Harry Potter film, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in 2001, he played Mr. Garrick Ollivander, the Wand Maker. It's really hard to read off of Wikipedia. It's much harder than people give it credit for. He returned for the adaptation of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, though his scenes in the film were cut. He also returned for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1 and Part 2. In the 2006 film V for Vendetta, he played the role of Adam Sutler, leader of the Norse Fire fascist dictatorship, and in Steven Spielberg's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in 2008, he appeared as Harold Oaksley. He voiced the Great Dragon, who aids the young warlock Merlin as he protects the future of King Arthur in the BBC television series Merlin, also in 2008. In 2011, he narrated the BBC documentary Planet Dinosaur, the first dinosaur-centered documentary completely shown through CGI. I'm not 100% sure that's accurate, but I'm not going to argue here. I am not Rick Raptor. More than 30 years after The Naked Civil Servant, Hurt reprised the role of Quentin Crisp in the 2009 film An Englishman in New York. This television film depicts Crisp's later years in New York. He returned to Orwell's 1984 play, playing an on-screen Big Brother for the National Media Museum in Bradford, and toured during 2010. Here we go. Really quick side note, at this point in the Wikipedia page, this is where they get to talk about him being the War Doctor. I would also like to point out that rightfully so, the Wikipedia page does actually mention him reprising the role for 4 Big Finish box sets as the War Doctor, released between 2015 and 2017, and also one of his final roles, also from Big Finish, playing the Invisible Man in a Big Finish audio adaptation of that story. So again, minor side note, I just really felt it was important to bring that up. Now, post Doctor Who career, which sadly there isn't a lot of. Well, uh, it makes it easier for me. It is kind of sad to think this such great an actor was taken away from us the way that he was. During Terry Gilliam's eighth attempt, oh shit, during Terry Gilliam's eighth attempt at making his development hell project, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, Hurt Hurt was set to star as Don Quixote alongside Adam Driver, of all people. Uh, however, his declining health and eventual death led to the project led to the project to led the project to be cancelled yet again. He was eventually replaced by Jonathan Pryce. Just the fact that this movie actually came out still boggles my mind. Uh, Hurt was due to appear alongside Ben Kingsley in the film entitled Broken Dream, to be directed by Neil Jordan in 2015. Hurt, Hurt provided the voice of the main antagonist, Sailor John, in the Thomas and Friends film. In the Thomas and Friends film, Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure, alongside Eddie Redmayne as Ryan and uh, Campbell Bowers Skiff. At the time of his death, he had completed filming uh, that good that good night, in which he played. Hold on, is it? Yep, it is. I didn't mess that up. In which he played a terminally ill writer. Hurt was initially cast as former British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain in Darkest Hour. However, according to Gary Oldman, Hurt was undergoing treatment for pancreatic cancer and was unable to attend the read-throughs. Actor Ronald Pickup assumed the role of Chamberlain. Instead, Hurt died from cancer in January 2017. And on that downer note, let's move on to an actor I decided to add on to today's list. Just feeling that a list of only two doctors, despite how many acting credits both McGann and Hurt have to their name, just felt incomplete. So I decided to go with Mr. David Bradley, who of course played William Hartnell as the first Doctor in An Adventure in Time and Space, but then obviously came back as the first Doctor properly in Peter Capaldi's final film, Twice Upon a Time. Bradley joined the Royal Shakespeare Company and performed at Laurence Olivier's National Theatre Company in the early 1970s. He first appeared on television in 1971 as a police officer in the comedy Nearest and Dearest. He was awarded a Laurence Olivier Award in 1991 for his supporting role as the fool in King Lear at the Royal National Theatre. He appeared in the Royal National Theatre's 1997 production, The Homecoming, as well as productions of The Caretaker at Sheffield Theatres and the Tricycle Theatre from 2006 to 2007. In 2005, he played the title role in Nicholas Heatner's production of Henry V, Henry V, Parts 1 and 2 at the Olivier Theatre in London. Bradley played fictional Labour member of Parliament Eddie Wells in the 1996 BBC Two serial Our Friends in the North, which, as you can see in this picture, also featured the Ninth Doctor himself, Christopher Eccleston. We talked about this in the last episode. Also in 1996, he appeared as gangster Alf Black in Band of Gold. In 1998, he appeared in the BBC adaptation of Vanity Fair as the miserly Sir Pitt Crowley, and our mutual friend. As the villainous rogue Rider Hood. Okay, fun name. Other television appearances include the 2001 series The Way We Live Now, directed by David Yates, who would work with Bradley 5 years later on the Harry Potter films. At this point, the Wikipedia page drastically omits David Bradley's David Bradley's involvement in the Harry Potter films, which I think is just criminal on every other level. As a massive fan of as a massive fan of the Harry Potter franchise and the Harry Potter movies, I think his role as the stingy and grimly caretaker Argus Filch could not be understated. He pretty much appeared in every single Harry Potter movie except Deathly Hallows Part 1, which the fact that the Wikipedia page just completely omits all of that is, like I said, criminal. He appears in 7 of the 8 Harry Potter movies, and just the role of Filch, in some movies more than most, you really do learn to hate this character. I love the actor again, obviously. He played the Doctor. How could I not like him? But just his role as Argus Filch is just criminally underrated in those movies. They do more with Argus Filch in the books, obviously, but I don't know if it's a director's cut or just a special editions cut. But I did watch a longer version of the Chamber of Secrets, much longer than the one released in theaters. It was about 3 hours long, near enough, and you do actually, there is a little bit of an extra scene that I'm so happy that they included in that movie, of just which slightly touches upon the fact that Argus Filch, if you read the books, you probably know this, Argus Filch is a squib, which in the Harry Potter universe, it's a person born into a magical family that can't do magic. Sort of like a reverse muggle born, for lack of a better word. So, yeah, Argus Filch, tragically underrated character in the Harry Potter franchise. Just wanted to point that out. So where is we now? If I do this, it'll probably make things a little bit easier for me. Yeah, back to the Wikipedia page. From 2002 to 2004, Bradley starred as Jake in the BBC comedy series Wild West, not to be confused with the Wild Wild West, like I did when I tried to look up images for today's episode. Bradley acted in the 2004 musical drama series Blackpool on BBC One. He appeared in the 2005 BBC drama Mr. Harvey Lights a Candle, playing the role of a morose coach driver who takes an unruly party of pupils on a trip to Salisbury Cathedral and the Salisbury Cathedral, and the 2006 BBC drama Sweeney Todd. He had a small role, and where was it? He had a small role in a 2005 episode of the series Taggart. In 2003, he played Tom in the Midsommar Murders episode The Green Man. He appeared as the Electrolanix using gangster Stemroach in the BBC comedy series Ideal, as the electric in the BBC's Thieves Like Us, and as well as the BBC One series True Dare Kiss in 2006 and through 2008, alongside the aforementioned 8th Doctor Paul McGann. There's no reason to bring up that picture again. Bradley appeared in 2008 and 2002 film Nicholas Nickleby, and had a small role in the 2007 comedy film Hot Fuzz. As a farmer, Wikipedia, man. As where was I again? As a farmer who illegally hoards weapons, he played Captain Cohen the Barbarian in a Sky One adaptation of The Color of Magic in 2008. Couldn't find it. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, not ripping off Lord of the Rings at all with that title there. Just wanted to point that out. That same year, he appeared as Spooner in a production of No Man's Land at the Gate Theatre in Dublin, which later transferred to London's West End. In 2009, Bradley appeared in Ashes to Ashes, playing an animal activist. Oh yeah, animal rights activist in The Street, both on BBC. Bradley portrayed Will Summers, Henry V's court fool, in an episode of the Showtime series The Tudors in 2009. In 2010, he appeared in the film Another Year, which earned him a nomination for Best Supporting Actor from the London Film Critics Circle Award. From 2011 to 2017, Bradley appeared as Lord Walder Frey in the HBO series Game of Thrones. Pretty sure no one's heard of that show, but never mind. Just kidding, of course. I'm trying to lighten the mood as I try to force myself to finish this episode. Okay, so now at this point, this is where the Wikipedia page delves into his Doctor Who career, so no reason to read any of that. From 2014, Bradley plays Professor Abraham Setrakian, a Holocaust survivor turned vampire hunter in Guillermo del Toro's TV series The Strain. In 2017, Bradley joined the cast of Guillermo del Toro's animated Netflix series Troll Hunters: Tales of Arcadia, playing the role of Merlin. In 2021, he received an Annie Award for Best Voice Actor in a TV role for his role in the final chapter of the trilogy Wizards: Tales of Arcadia. Yeah, and then there's some more Doctor Who related stuff, and yeah, that's. Oh, hold on, one final thing. From 2019 to 2022, Bradley played Ray Johnson, the demented father of Tony, played by Ricky Gervais in the Netflix series Afterlife. Another Life. No, is it? Nope, it's Afterlife. Sorry, my bad. And that was the end of David Bradley's involvement in today's episode. Now, one final thing that I wanted to tack on as a slight bit of a bonus is Joe Martin, who actually played the fugitive Doctor in Fugitive of the Judoon in 2020. She also reprised her role as that version of the Doctor in The Timeless Children, as well as Once Upon a Time in the most recent series of Doctor Who, season of Doctor Who, whichever way you want to call it. So yeah, even though her involvement with Doctor Who is slightly minimal, she has actually had more appearances as the Doctor than David Bradley did. So I decided to add her on. And again, I felt like not having her on this list would just make this list completely incomplete. I cannot believe I just said that, completely incomplete. But, well, that is the case. Now, sadly, I honestly couldn't find... the Wikipedia page is tragically short on Joe Martin. In Joe Martin's case, a lot of her extensive work is just completely omitted. However, there is one thing that I decided that I read and I decided to bring up in today's episode called "Tales from the Front Line." In November 2020. Try it again. In November of 2020, Talawa Theatre Company released Tales from the Front Line. The first film presented a a verbatim narrative from a teacher played by Martin, talking about trying to keep themselves and their pupils safe during the pandemic. The emotional and psychological impact of the global Black Lives Matter movement, and the challenges of supporting students' education during an era of great uncertainty. Reviews describe Martin's performance as performed so subtly as to seem real, while being conversational and natural. That's why I felt it was important to once again bring up her involvement in that project. Now, one final thing that I decided to add on, because again, as I mentioned, her Wikipedia page is tragically short, but I decided to actually go down to her filmography and just read out some of the projects that she's been involved in. Uh, at the moment, I'm only going to do movies because if it's television, I'd probably be here all day. But yeah, for movies, she had roles in such movies as For Queen and Country, The Murder of Stephen Lawrence, The Jolly Boys' Last Stand, Chicky, a small role in a film called Tunnel of Love. She also has a very small role in Batman Begins as a prison official. Again, I just felt like I needed to bring that up. She also has appeared in movies such as movies/short films such as Blood, Dead Meat, The Prodigials, The Prodigials. Where is it? Hold on. The Prodigials 4321. Yep. Took a while, but I finally found the picture. 4321. Devil's Playground. Chalet Girl. Hold on. Chalet Girl. Say My Name in Tercet. Stormy Weather. Parking Wars. Dragonfly. Just or 100 Streets, The Rehearsal Room, Been So Long, 9 Nights, Blue Story, and Dominoes for Beginners. Again, these are just her film roles. In TV, she has played several minor roles here and there, but yeah, this is just a part of her filmography that I decided to include on here if you want to get more acquainted with the person behind the hidden incarnation of the Doctor from before the days of William Hartnell. And just a quick reminder, she's also getting her own, actually, yeah, it's June. I'm pretty sure it already started. She's recently got her own ongoing comic book series featuring, the Fugitive Doctor, but more on the Joe Martin side of things. She, at some point in the hopefully near future, she will be getting her own standalone series as the Fugitive Doctor on Big Finish. So, alongside another Chris Chibnall era alumni, Sacha Dhawan as the Master. So, yeah, I just wanted to point these two out. Today has been arguably the most challenging episode I've ever had to do for this show. But once again, considering how badly I botched last week's episode, and it still kind of hurts that it happened the way that it did. Again, a lot of it was due to StreamYard and other technical difficulties that I will not be going into at the moment. But here is what happens when I try to read off of Wikipedia page, and hopefully now this finally gives an answer to people who are asking me, why don't I just write down notes and then read them aloud while I'm doing this show or other videos on my own channel? This is why, okay? This is why I don't do that. This is why I much prefer to go off of my own memory and what's coming to my head. But yeah, this has been an episode of the greatest show in the galaxy. Next time we will be discussing. I'm hoping that I can get a guest. I haven't actually reached out to this person just yet, but I'm hoping to get myself a a special guest for next week's episode, where we will be discussing each individual doctor's announcement as the doctor. Should be pretty interesting, but that is a story for another time. As I try to put this challenging month of episodes from of this show, hopefully next week's episode will be a much more lighthearted and fun, and I'll actually have a guest that I can bounce ideas off of, and hopefully make my life a lot easier. Yeah, this has been me doing this show for about a week. We talking about actors who have played the Doctor and their life and career before and after playing the iconic titular role. If you have enjoyed seeing me ramble on about things, I also do a lot more rambling on my own YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek. I also can be found on this channel in a show called Northern Countdown, alongside my two good friends, Soda and Ben, and I now have a much higher respect for Soda for his ability to read off of Wikipedia pages with the ease that he does that. But yeah, Soda himself can also be found on another show called The Squared Slice on this channel. Ben, and alongside Ben on a show called Northern Rewind. Sorry, or is it Northern Rewind or Rewind the Tape? I can't remember at the moment, but yeah, it's a rewind show. Ben himself can also be found on his own YouTube channel, The Multiverse of Geekdom. He has all kinds of fun shows there, like Geekdom, the Geekdom Uncut, the Weekly Geekdom. He has a Star Wars show, a Schmodown show, all your Ben Rayner needs. We also have another show on this channel talking about television, but less important television, called Have You Seen This? With Daniel and Snark, and occasionally Dave, I should say. And also our good friends Taco and Jess. You can find Taco on his channel, Something to Taco About, where some people from our channel occasionally make appearances over on his Geek Gauntlet. He also has a Star Wars show that he does with Marie Wilson. And also, as I previously mentioned, Jess, the Kiwi, has her own channel called Kiwi Jess, where she descends into madness regularly every week. So there's a lot of fun content for us, for you all to watch. I am not going to sleep because my brain is about to give up on me any second now. So thank you all for watching, and hopefully this episode didn't disorient. Actually, what's the proper verb for that? Disorientate you too much. Goodbye, everybody. Have a pleasant life.